was 17 years old, I was going to a boarding school in South Carolina. And there was a guy that was in school with me, and he said, hey, one afternoon, he said, hey, I'm gonna run up to Kmart, you wanna come with me? Sure. He had a yellow Z28, I'll never forget it. He had this banana-colored Z28. So we got in his car, and he said, do you mind if I put some music on? And I said, no. So he put on, don't get scared, you ready? An 8-track tape. Most of you are like, what the hell is an 8-track tape? It's a giant cassette tape. They're completely gone. They're completely obsolete, right? But he pulled one out from underneath his chair because I went to a very strict private school, and the kind of music that he was about to pull out on this 8-track was not allowed at the school. So he pulls it out and he goes, and he puts it in. And I had no idea who this guy was. I didn't know who the artist was on the thing. And he started playing. This is completely random, right? So if it sucks, you'll know why. It just came to me. I do like to hear the piano, though. I'd never heard this guy before, and then he started singing. I remember all my life, raining down as cold as ice. Shadows of a man, face through a window, crying in the night. The night goes into morning, just another day. You guys know that guy? Oh Mandy, you came and you gave without taking. Barry Manilow. I had no idea who that was, okay? But I liked him. I didn't even know why. I just liked him, you know? He had these great songs. Oh my gosh. I've been alive forever, and I wrote the very first song. You guys know that song? I put the words and the melodies together. I am music, and I write the songs. You know that song? Your parents ever play that in the car? I write the songs that make the whole world sing. And then there's, baby, I love you, come into my arms. Let me know the wonder of all of you. Baby, I want you now and now, whoa, now. I loved Barry Manilow. So, now, this is very important to tell you. I didn't play the piano. I never took any lessons. I don't play the piano, or didn't. I was 17, and this guy played Barry Manilow on an 8-track tape. This One's For You was the album that he played. I loved it. It was right before Christmas break. Remember I said I was in a boarding school. So at Christmas, I went home for Christmas break, and I bought 5 records of Barry Manilow. And I listened to his records, and I'm like, I like this guy. There's something simple and honest about his music. He's not showy, he's not flashy, he's even kind of bozo looking, big nose, you know, skinny kind of guy, but he's a great musician, and there's an honesty about his voice. He's not flashy with his vocals, just honest. And I liked him. So I went back to school after Christmas break, a Barry Manilow fan now, right? And I was talking to my friend Jay. He was 1 year younger than I was. I was a senior in high school, 17. He was a junior. And I said, hey, you took your wig off. Oh, you look great. She was telling me she actually has red hair under her wig. I love it. And I was talking to Jay, and I'm like, hey, Jay, have you ever heard of Barry Manilow? And he's like, I love Barry Manilow. love you, you're my friend. Jay played the piano. I didn't play the piano. Jay played the piano. And Jay said to me, hey, let's write a Barry Manilow song. He's like, I'll write the music and you write the lyric. So he went home and he worked on this song and he recorded himself on a cassette playing this song at his piano at his house and he gave me the cassette. Then I took the cassette back to my dormitory and I listened to this song all the time because I'm supposed to write words to it, right? So I listened to that song so much. Perfect, was great. I listened to the song so much that I just, you know what I mean? Like I could hear it. Every single note in my head. One day, I was walking across campus, and I don't know if you guys have them here, but the campus that I went to, they had little practice studios for music instruments. It was literally a row of closets, and students would go in there to practice their instruments. Well, most of them had upright pianos in them. So I went into one of those rooms, and I sat down and started literally like this, like plunking around on the piano. I didn't play the piano. Before I knew it, I had worked out that song exactly the way Jay played it on that cassette. Now, did I know what I was playing? No. But I knew it sounded exactly like what he was doing. I know I'm making a big long story out of this, but this is kind of like my life, my music life. I started playing this song, and then one day I was playing it, and I accidentally hit a wrong note. But it sounded great. Like this. It would be the difference between this and this. I turned a major into a minor. Or maybe I accidentally hit a dissonant too, so it sounded like this. And I was like, ooh. And so I started thinking, okay, where does that sound like it should go? And I would start making up my own thing. Following where I heard like I wanted it to go in my mind. What was I playing? I have no idea. I just premiered. So then after about, 5-6 months of this at school, I wanted to show one of my friends who was in the university. I was in high school. And I had friends that were music majors. You guys know any music majors? Sometimes they're kind of, like they're so much better than everyone. And I had this friend, I don't even remember his name, he was a music major. And I said, hey, want to come here to Sonia Road? So he walked with me down to the one of those little practice rooms, and I started playing the song. And he stood behind me and watched me playing. I would go, and he would say, that's a C minor 2. And I would say, why? And he said, well, C is your root, and then it's a minor because you flatted the third. That's the harmonic third, flatted. So it becomes a minor key, half step down, right? And then you added the second note. If you're in the scale of C, right? Eight notes, right? Right? What's the second note? And if you want to resolve it, right? You hear it wants to resolve. And then I would go, and he would say, that's a G sharp major 7. And I would be like, why? And he would explain it to me. Now the only thing I can tell you is I just got it. You know what I mean? It just clicked. I understood it. And I would say, okay, so if that's a G major 7, then that's a B flat major 7. And he would go, yes. So I just kind of started, you know what I mean? Developing it. And the more I learned about it, the more I got it. And I would go to a restaurant, and I would hear them playing a song in the restaurant. And in my mind, I would be charting it out in my mind. That sounds like a C minor. Well, if that's a C minor, then that's probably an F minor. No, that's a D. Oh, that's a suspended fourth. And I would play it in my mind, listening to it in the restaurant, and then I could walk over to the piano. I already played it in my head, right? So I kind of figured it out. Again, I have to tell you, it's totally a God thing, right? I mean, I didn't study it. I didn't spend years learning about it. I just got it. And then I started, by the time I was 19, I had written 8 or 10 songs, and I wanted to record them. And my uncle lived in Denver, Colorado, and he knew a guy that had a recording studio in his basement. And so I saved up my money, and I dropped out of school. When I was 19, I took a break from school, and I went home and earned some money, and went to Denver, Colorado, and recorded these 10 songs. I hired a drummer, and I hired a guitar player. And I played the piano and sang, and I wrote out all their charts for them to play the drums and guitar and stuff. And then it just kept growing from there. And now, I've probably produced 30 or 40 records for myself and different other artists. I've written hundreds of pieces of music for jingles and post scores for television and radio. And music is like big to me. It's a very, very big part of my life. And that's how it started. Isn't that weird? That was a long answer to a very short question. So I apologize. Question?